GDSC, right? University of Science Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm a graduate from GSM previously.
Oh, so you are graduate student from okay.
Mm.
So current time is 8:37. Yeah. So maybe we can wait another 3 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes actually.
No
2 minutes.
worries.
Okay. Before that, may I know, uh, have you ever have a chance to have a dinner today tonight? Yeah,
Uh,
because we start quite earlier, right? Early, right?
yeah, I just have a light dinner. I hope that all the participants also had enjoyed the dinner. And I'm actually very uh, glad and proud that you guys still going for this study jam instead of already like starting for the countdown celebration and whatnot.
Uh, Actually, we've already do the GitHub study jam, but the title just doing a practice like like doing the create the fork like that lah, something like
Right.
a very practical one lah. So this time we want to like do a bit different ideas. So hopefully many of us can really enjoy the session tonight.
Yeah, sure, sure. Mm, I'll, I'll share my screen first. Uh,
Sure. So it almost time. So I think without further ado, let's kick off this GitHub study jam and give a virtual round of applause to our awesome speaker, Lai Fong.
yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Today I'll be sharing on the topic level up your portfolio with GitHub. So as I understand that you all have already have the first session on how to uh, do work on GitHub. So I think in today I won't be so much on the coding exercises, but I will
I'm
include the
sorry. Actually, not all of us have attend the previous
the session.
study
Yes,
jam.
sure, sure. So for today's session, I will be going through a bit more on the like how to create a GitHub portfolio. So it won't be so much on the coding exercises, but I will include the steps in as a reference so that you can follow the steps at your own pace later. And of course, I think the more important thing is how to create the portfolio, make it outstanding and all. That will be more beneficial. So, so this today, this will be the table of contents on what we'll be covering today. So first is what is a project portfolio or GitHub portfolio, and then we're like how to building a personal GitHub portfolio. What is the reasoning behind, and that what are the things that we want to include in the GitHub portfolio, and then some of the tips how to build the portfolio. And after that, we'll look through a bit of some samples, different samples for different roles. I have included the sample GitHub portfolio as a data analyst or and a machine learning engineer also. But of course, if you are more focusing on software engineering, there will be some other examples that you can uh, take it as a reference. What are the things that you can include into your portfolio to make it more attractive? So then after that will be more on the Q&A session that if you have any questions that I'll be gladly answer it. So now, what is the portfolio? I think in short, the portfolio is especially when you are going out for applying job if you have a hand ready portfolio, it will be very easy for you to demonstrate what skill you have, and also for the interviewer to see what are the your profile, and then what are your technical skill sets and project that you have done, and how it is related to the company job applications and all. So it's a very useful channel for you to showcase and demonstrate your capability. So now you may want to ask, is it something that is mandatory? Uh, Not really, but it's a a really good advantage if you have it. Why? Because you can really demonstrate your skills and experience to showcase like what your capability of work, coding styles, what are the programming language that you have learned or used before, then your problem solving skills, and then your code quality and etc. So this will be the very first thing that as an interviewer we will look into the GitHub portfolio. So the second one is like to showcase a range of capabilities, especially when you are a fresh graduate, you don't have much of working experience, right? Then how can you stand up as a job applicant? Right, it's from the portfolio projects that you have done before. You can showcase that you have done a few projects using Python, or maybe if you are using R language or some other if machine learning libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch, or if you are not in the machine learning area, it can also be something on the cloud if you have already deployed your model into the any of the cloud uh, that you it will be really good to show like different uh, skill set from you, and including the how you can split up from the a project. You can split up into different tasks. How you when you in the GitHub when you commit the codes, right, you can see like how you are splitting uh, your project into smaller tasks, and update and get your project or task complete in different time manners. So you can show how you can manage your tasks and project in that sense. So in the third part, you can also um, it's especially if you are fresh graduate, right? Instead of just a resume, when we see the projects in the GitHub portfolio, it will be mainly provide a very good talking points during the interviews. We can we can start the conversations into like it can be both parties. You can explaining different projects in the portfolio, or we can also as an interviewer can ask the projects its details, and you then from there we can start the conversations and see what has been done and what is the skill set and challenge and all in during the interview. So it can be a very good start talking points during the interviews. The next point is to showcase you are very passionate in the field that you are applying. It can be different things, web development. It can be mobile apps development, or machine learning, or cloud technologies. It showcase as you keep on updating your GitHub portfolio. It shows that you are committed and you are willing to learn and latest technology. Uh, so that it shows that you are really very keen on this project interest and all. For as an example, in the machine learning, currently the latest in the trend is all these large language models, right? If you can showcase some of the some simple things that you have done using the LLM, can be some open source large language models, or some of the even the what's it called, the prompt engineering. it can then it can shows that you are keep on learning into the latest technology as the technology grows. So this is very very important because as if you are working as a software engineer or machine learning engineer, we need to keep on learning as because this field is the technology just keep on and growing. So the next one is, of course, you can be increase your visibility. It's like a personal branding. You can and showcase your portfolio into say social media and publish it to your social media, LinkedIn and all, to showcase the projects that you have done or something that you have learned, then you will increase your visibility. Then it will be easy to catch the, let's say, job hunters or employers' eyes. Or this person, I have seen him keep on very active in updating the projects that he have done. Or it could be like, oh, he is actually has the project in and we are actually looking for this talent. Then maybe you could be getting some job hunters invitation to some of the uh, opportunities. So this will be very very good if you have a personal GitHub portfolio. So this will be all in a nutshell, like why we want to build a personal GitHub portfolio. So I hope that this will answer all the questions like, uh, is it really necessary and worth the effort if to build a GitHub portfolio because you need to invest the time and to build and maintain the GitHub portfolio, right? So next, let's go through the like what are the things that we want to include into the personal GitHub portfolio. So what make a good portfolio? So these are the simple a few points that I have put into together as a nutshell out of summary what makes a good portfolio. So you can first it showcase a variety of projects. So and then in the projects it demonstrate different technical skills, problem solving capabilities, and also the coding proficiency. So in this part, what I mean is the variety of projects, right? As an example, is you can showcase like you can be very simple. You can do a like data scraping, web scraping, how you collect the data, and then you can continue with um, cleansing the data into a good structure format. Then from there, after the processing, then you can after that you can start doing the model building part, uh, uh, model training. Then you can choose like different machine learning framework libraries, like it can be TensorFlow or PyTorch or some other SK scikit-learn or XGBoost, whichever the libraries that you use, you need to understand what is the reasoning and what is the problem that you want to solve, which is the library that is good to solve this kind of problem. Is it a classification problem or is it a regression problem? So from there you can slowly uh, demonstrate different skill sets from there. So besides that, this is all very hardcore technical skills, right? Then you can also on a soft skill set part, it is very important to reflect your personality, as in like what are your personality, as in not like what you like to eat or what you like to do, right? But it's more on professional personality. What are your career goal? What is your development plan or your research interest? This can be put into your GitHub portfolio, especially in About Me. I will show you a few examples how you can build a showcase use a different personality based on your GitHub portfolio. Then, of course, as you continue building your GitHub portfolio, keep on updating your projects. It can be very simple, can be a collab code Jupyter notebook, right? It can be some link to Kaggle website, or it can be a blog post on Medium post that you something that you have learned and all. So this shows evidence on your continuous learning and growth, especially think in personally uh, individual. You can also, as time goes by, you can also see the learning journey and in your career, how you build out your different skill sets as long term. So this is very good for you to build a GitHub portfolio. But of course, then you may need to invest time to work on the GitHub portfolio. So after we have talked about the what makes a good portfolio, right? Then these are the things that we can include in. So it can be especially it will be different on projects. It can be personal project. It can be your coursework project. As long as it's not confidential, you don't have link to any. You are not breaching any violate any confidentiality, then it's good to put in. But of course, make sure it's your work. If you are referring some other works, make sure you actually not just copy paste. You understand from others people's works, but you are trying to make your own version. It can be what you have learned, or try to different approach how to improve from the previous work and all. Then you have some can be some quick examples, the technical documents, blog posts and all. It can be also if you are doing the model building, you can also include the model that you have built to showcase your different capabilities. So of course you can also highlight for each of the projects, right? You should highlight on the problem of the projects that you are trying to solve. What is the solving approach? It can be like what are the technologies you use, and also like what if it's a team project, like what are the roles that you are involved in the team, and what are the parts modules that you are working in the projects. So this will give you a very strong portfolio as your different roles and problem solving and different projects and all. So it can be also including on what are the challenges that you face or limitation on your current projects, and the possible solutions or area of improvement. You can also highlight into your project portfolio. So this will be things that you can consider. Of course, I will show some of the examples later also. So now, after we have talked what to include into the portfolio, right? Next, we will talk about what we shouldn't put into the portfolio. So, very first thing is don't just copy some others people works into your portfolio. You may refer to it, but you don't just directly copy and paste, because it respect others people's intellectual property and work, right. Of course, if it, if it's open source and with the um, open licensing, you can fork out from others people work. Then you can build your own uh, methodology, or you can start uh, revising others people works, and then you can also put in like what are the current limitation, or what are the things that you want to improve based on on the previous work. So these are the things that should highlight, and of course it will be best to give the credits to, if you reference others paperworks, give the credits, and then put the link also to others people works. Then the second thing that I think some one the mistakes that a lot of people having is lack of documentation. So you are just putting the code in, but without any introduction or what these codes are, what other project is doing. People just don't know what you are trying to do. If you just have a title and then some codes, then it's very very hard for the readers to know what you are trying to solve. Oh, so if you don't have much time, a simple readme would help in explaining what are the things that you want to include into your projects. So of course, that you if you have some result, it's best to have some of the screenshots capture and publish in the readme documents or earns so that you can easily go through the very standard like the problem, the methodology, and then the results that you will achieve. Then the third one, which is also very, very important, don't, just now I mentioned that we want to showcase if a large varieties of projects, right? But bear in mind, uh, don't just focus on the quantity. So meaning that you want to have make show like you have done a lot. So you are putting everything in, although you have not barely touched the projects, but you see from somewhere else, you just copy and put into your portfolio. Right, this is very very dangerous. For one is during the if you are doing using your GitHub portfolio during the interview, uh, the interviewer may ask any of the projects and you will have a very hard time if you cannot answer what is the project about and definitely the most of the chances you will fail the interview directly because it just showcase that you don't know your work or you are just copy paste someone else's work. So this is very very dangerous. So yes. So really understand your work and focus on the quality. So you must understand what are the things that you are trying to achieve, put it into a modular like different functions. Like you know what are the different this block of code what it's trying to do. Maybe it's trying to um, split the data set into training and validation data set. And then from there, you can put into a different functions as in from the training data set, what you want to do next. It can be some other pre-processing steps. You want to crop the image, or you can be want to filter some of the data. So these are the things that you may want to really understand. And of course, it's not just one time work. As how you have done your different projects or school works and all, you can keep on improve and commit your code changes into the GitHub portfolio. So in this way, you can also show how you have improved your projects over time and showcase that you actually also focus on the code quality and how to improve the code quality. So when we say the code quality, there are a few things that we are looking at. First one is the readability. The code needs to be easy to understand. Try to like simple things. Don't try to avoid uh, uh, any variable XYZ. So it's very hard to understand what is this X and Y and all right. If you are putting, it can be like um, counter. So you from the style of coding, you can showcase your code quality. You are not just putting anything. You can also apply the coding styles if you are for if it's if you're keep on working on the same coding style as in for class object you have if you are using the capital letter and then for function you start with a verb like calculate uh, calculate maximum value. So it can showcase the different coding in style, binding to the style format, and then also with a clean code quality. And second one, when we talk about code quality, also focus on the testing. Make sure your code is no error. You can actually run the codes if the anyone's download the GitHub code, they can actually run it. So in the README or documentations part, it will be very good to have a session like to get started. What are the steps? Like you need to include the libraries needed for the installation, and then how to get started. Uh, let's say just maybe just Python core main.py file to get the applications started. So this will be very very helpful and show that you are actually having a very good quality in your code. It's just not simply anything putting everything together. So it will be very hard for the readers to read your projects and codes. So these are a few things. But um, maybe I'll just add on one thing. When we have already covered the code quality and all, uh, to showcase that you have more advanced skill sets, right? Try to include the unit testing, so that you are covering testing into your codes, and also make sure that if you are doing some uh, let's say model training and all, if you can cover the deployment part, put into a Docker how you want to put into the Docker image, building the Docker image and all. This will be showcase, yeah, making your projects and your skill set much stronger. So including the scalability and deployment and all, make sure it's like end to end. So you will be very very good. But of course, when we say on this, it will be a lot of things to cover. But we will just try to get started with a simple project first. So now a lot of talking on what we want to include onto the GitHub portfolio, right? Now here is the tips on how we want to build the personal GitHub portfolio. So I've categorized into two categories. One for one, if you have not done any GitHub portfolio projects before, you'll be going to that fresh graduate or fresh engineers path. Then if you have some experience already, if you have already have some works in your portfolio, then I will also include some of the tips into how to make your GitHub portfolio level up to the next level. What are the things that we can still on in include? Because as I mentioned just now, there are a lot of things that we can include into the GitHub portfolio, but don't get too overwhelmed. Let's get started with a few steps. So the very first thing is start small. So I think if you have already done the GitHub project, getting started with using the GitHub, once you have you have the GitHub account, and then you install the Git libraries and all, you can start to plan what are the things that you want to put into your project portfolio. I think there are things that maybe some of the um, projects you have done, list it down first, then you can plan step by steps how you can get started, or it can be also including, you can split into different category. Is it more on um, uh, let's say data analysis or machine learning or website development or some other DevOps engineer projects and all, split into that first, and then we start from small, like focus on one single area, one single project, then to for you to practice how to get started with the GitHub portfolio, and then as you goes on, you will be getting easier to include more things into your portfolio. So you start small, uh, uh, but you must demonstrate your understanding and fundamental concepts of what you want to do. It can be some of the projects that I can think of is you can actually do a very simple, let's say, if you want to scrap uh previously it's Twitter, but like X, uh what is it called, the post comments, you want to do a simple data scrapping, how you want to do that, then you can, but you need to understand like what are the things that you need to include in the different steps. It can be yeah, just a Jupyter notebook to do everything in. But in the Jupyter notebooks, you need to separate into different sections, gives some explanation on each section. Like first, you want to maybe install a library setting up. Then second, what you want to do, maybe you want to connect to X or a website or Twitter or a website. So from there, you can link into like from the data that you have collected, uh, what, what are the things that you want to, how you want to group into, what are the file format that you want to save into. Is it a JSON format or the CSV format and things like that? You can split into different categories. Then from there, you can like building in the different concepts and practice into different steps. So next is like just how I can also cover is uh, after you have decided the projects that you want to put into your GitHub portfolio, right? You start to plan and then learn what the technologies needed, what the steps needed, then practice it. Then from there, you can also put into different technologies, different projects. It can be something new. It can, if you have done a workshop, it can be like something like this: how to build a GitHub portfolio workshop. You can put into the steps, uh, uh, make it like your learning journal. Then you can also, it's good for you to refresh and practice at the same time. So it can be something, some other things. It can be building a website, or you can be learning some of the library framework. So you can, but make sure after you have learned, especially if you have done some online workshop or StudyJam, you can put into your GitHub portfolio, and also keep on practice on the different codings or technologies. So as you continue building this, right, you actually showcase your learning journey. Maybe like for uh, previous month you learn on how to get started with GitHub. Yes, and this month you start to build GitHub portfolio. Then the next after this, then you can start thinking your go-to for learning journey, learning plan, development plan. What are the things that you want to put into your GitHub projects? It can be some different projects. If you want to do a time series, is model, or it can be some other make it, try to find some real world problem, not just trying to, let's say, build a model to classify cat or dog. It will be too basic, right? But you can try to see some other projects, like instead of cat and dogs, maybe you want to have a bit more uh, adding some varieties into it. uh, what are the breeds of the cats? what are the different types, different category of breeds of dogs. And from there, you can make your projects more interesting for one. Second is also you practice and to building your strengthening your skill set, and then showcase your project portfolio into different categories. So it's just not as simple, and then you have something more interesting covering into the next one. So it's showcasing your learning journey. So after you have covered all this, right? You are more, yeah, one two projects you're already familiar and all. If then next thing is you can uh, try to work in a team projects, work into a larger projects. Like it can be different people. It can be same project, but then you are trying different approach, different libraries and whatnot. You can compare different methodologies. Then you can compare with your team members. What are the results? It can be on the, if it's a model building, you can be using different hyperparameters. And for example, then you can actually see what will be the result comparisons and all. Or it can be contributing in different module. The first member you can maybe is more involved in um, data processing. So you would need to uh, from the raw data, you need to uh, process the data, and then maybe let's say from a CSV file, you want to process it and save into a JSON format. Then for your case, then you're reading the JSON file, and then you start for the next steps. So in this way, you are building your experience into working into a larger project, and at the same time it's also building the experience and skill set working as a team. So in the working industry, it's not that I have done the code, I copy paste to you, and then you just get my code, and then we share the code like this, right? It will not be uh, possible, because we are, if especially if you are working on a large team and all, you just cannot afford to just keep on sharing the file along copy and paste and all. So every time when you have done this, you will save or commit into a source control. So in this way, in this scenario, your source control is your GitHub, so you can take it as a source versioning control. You, as you have done some of the code changes, you copy into the GitHub. Then the next person is he can just get pull the latest changes and to his workspace, and then you can continue work on that. So it will give you an experience on how to uh, code or work in this team manner. So this will uh, uh, minimize the learning gap as you go from uh, the academic universities to industry, because industry we will not we will use some sort of a source version control software. So Git will be a very good starting point for you to get used to how to commit codes and is and all, and update getting updates latest code from other team members and all. So you will see how we can collaborate working in the same project. So this will give you a very good opportunity to work on that. So the next, last but not least, is to seek feedback. So especially when you are still learning, and if you are still students, right? it is the best time for you to get feedbacks. If you publish your works and all, uh, try to ask for feedback. You can just post it into the LinkedIn, or if you have faced some challenges and all, put into your create a post into your social media, right, with your link to your GitHub projects X repo. Then you try to get feedback how you want to how what are the things that you can improve on. So you will be getting feedback is very very important, and as in you can get very useful tips and tricks how to improve different skill sets or solve different problems, and then from there, as you build your portfolio, you are actually building your skill set at the same time. So don't be afraid of like uh, learning in public or showcasing your work in public. Because maybe you feel like it's not that good yet and things like that. Just take it as an opportunity to learn, and get feedback from others. So this will be the tips on getting started. But of course, if we have time later, we will see how we can do the hands-on in the GitHub. I think we will not be able to cover that part, but I will include the steps into the slide so that you can follow along how the step by step how you can get started with creating the GitHub portfolio. It's very simple, but of course there are more advanced things that you can cover at the same time. But I would really recommend you to start small, start simple. Then as you have gained your skill set and experience and all, then you can start to think of different design, what are the things that you want to add on. So, but to get started, don't overthink, or don't do start with a big plan and all. It will be too overwhelmed for you. So, so I hope this answer your uh, uh, very first question, like how to get started, what are the things that you want to put into the portfolio and all. But the the coding part, I think is the easiest way. You can just a few lines of code only. Actually, you will if you are familiar with HTML and all, it's just how you want to what are the things that you want to put into. There will be more of your personal choice already. So next, I would also like to include some tips on how to level up your GitHub portfolio if you already have something in right. So if you once you already get familiar on create a simple GitHub portfolio and all, for to level up to showcase you is a stronger portfolio, right? Try to choose a good domain and a web design template so that it's clear and simple and easy to read and things like that. But of course, the domain uh, one advice that we would always recommend is because it's personal and all right. You can just put into a unique ID. It can be your last name, first name, as simple as that, because it's very very personal. That or it can be uh, a handle that you use for other social media. If you have a Medium blog post, or if you have some other, uh, if you are also doing some posts in TikTok and LinkedIn, if try to use the same ID or same handle so that it will easy for others to easy to reach you. So if you can type, let's say some of the unique one, it can be, let's say, uh, I don't know, maybe let's say uh, Nuru data analyst. Let's say you want to put this as a special one. So every social media or especially the GitHub portfolio, you can use the same ID. So when people search in Google, right, they can link to all the social media platform that you're already in. So this is one of the example. But if you are very typical uh, engineer, right, naming is something that we don't have much creativity on. You can just simply use your name, let's say like fongliang.github.io, let's say. So it will be very very personalized to your own individual. So next is, so you have something on the design and the domain name. Next, we also want to include your personality. So when we say the personality, we are not saying that, like I mentioned just now, not what you like to do, and you can add it as a very small briefly into about me. If you can put in, let's say, as a book. Besides doing all this portfolio, you are also, you like to cook and things like that, but very briefly, but mainly focusing on professional or profile relevance, like your personal goals or your interests and all. Then you will give a very professional looks into your GitHub portfolio. So this will be very very good into showcasing what are the things, your passion and your interest and your learning and all. So of course we will be linking into the next one, is what we have covered just now, on adding into your project portfolios and all, right. But here, if you already have some experience, you maybe you have a lot of projects already, then you can actually make some of your older projects, if you have the basic one, into private and all, or maybe you can just put a highlight or star into the best project that you have done. Choose the right projects, meaning that showcase the best of your capability. It can be end-to-end projects, starting from data collections, data processing, into the model building, and then with the deployment, and then with the application demo into Streamlit or Gradio and all. So it will be one project is like this. It's much more better than you have like 10 or 11 of some smaller piece of project. But of course, this one you can continue improve. Like I said just now, don't think of too big projects and all. Start whatever you have right now, or some simple codes that you already have. Try to push into it first. Then as you have more experience and already, if once you have a bigger projects, and more better projects, you can just like kind of like put the highlight into the more advanced project, the so-called the bright projects. Or like right now the trend is, let's say, if you have not done, or maybe you will just try some of the using the some of the LM models, can be the ChatGPT, or a bar of the latest one is the Gemini. If you have done, just use it for prompt engineering, or maybe the stable diffusion. What are the prompt? What is the input prompt that you use, and then what is the result photos that you can generate? This will be very very good to get started. Then of course, then you can start building into more technical, different uh, ways of how to improve on the on the input prompt, how to fine tune in your prompt engineering. So these are the things that you can uh, grow step by steps, but then you can put into the highlights into the right projects. This will be very important, especially if you want to uh, apply for the job, right? If you have some relevant projects that you have done before and you are really good and know what you are doing, it will give you a very um, strong interview impressions. As in you have the capability or the level that as a fresh graduate you have done this. Is it will be although you don't have working experience, this will be a good portfolio to showcase what you can do. So when again, this is step by step. Yeah. When you have more skills and all, you can highlight some of the open source contributions. Like if you have done uh, some of the uh, this will be very advanced, but don't maybe for your future. But if you have not into the ready for this yet, don't get the uh, worry on this. Let's say if you already know some of the libraries, let's say Python libraries or maybe some of the TensorFlow library, you can also try to contribute into all these open source us. Then you'll be really impressed as portfolio. But of course, if to get started, one way I can think maybe it's a bit more relevant to that you all can try is if you can also open source your code contribution or projects into publish also into the Kaggle website, then it can be also something extra as a open source contribution. You are contributing to the open source community, right? So next, last but not least, and as always, is continuously update your portfolio. As the technology it goes, may not be like when we say continuous update, it's not like every week and all, but maybe it's like month or quarterly. You have some keep your portfolio up to date with the latest projects, some of the skills or some of the achievement that you have done. So that one will be a bit more on maintenance. Like it will be easier then as time goes by, you will see a very strong profile. But of course, if you don't do it regularly, then you may face a few problems. One is you may forget what you have done, then and it will be something wasted, right? Because you have done something, but you didn't put it in. Or second is it can be too much of effort if you want to update 5 projects at the same time and all. So keep on updating regularly, make it your learning plans as you work on it. Then you just keep on publish into your GitHub portfolio. Then you will not see, but as months or years goes by, you can see how much you have done in your learning and also your different projects. So this will be a very good starting point, especially now it's year end, right? Try to after this try to absorb think of this plan ahead. Then as a new year plan, you can start doing this, and then by next year or end of next year, you will see how much you have grown in your GitHub portfolio. So make this as a New Year resolutions. Yeah. So a lot of talkings and all right. Maybe you are still a bit of having not so much of clear idea. Like I kind of know what I have mentioned, but like, is there any samples that you may ask? So let me show you a few samples. We'll go through into details I will show you like what are the things that you can add in, what are the highlights that is good in different portfolio. But I have just covered these two paths, and because I may not be aware on what is your profile, right? Maybe you want to do work on as a web developer or mobile developer. I maybe I will just add in a few more as if you are interested into that path. But for now, I will just cover as a data analyst or as a machine learning engineer. What are the projects? Excuse me. What are the strong and interesting portfolio that people has published, right? So first, let's get started on the data analyst. What are the things that we will look into the as a data analyst? So this one is a first example by Cordia and Hope. So here is mentioning like, so you can see there's about me and then the services and then the portfolio and then the context and all. Like services, it has include different types of services like the data analyst, uh, analytics, dashboarding, and then interactive infographic. This will be very strong, very experienced data analyst. We'll show you directly the website. Yeah. So this is the website. So you can see like a simple code like what is the interest or goal of from Cordia, right? Then you have different services, and then you have the about me. Then it says simple, you can by short biography of the person, and then here is the portfolio. You can see like here is showcasing as a data analyst different dashboard, the goal, then the result, and then the project durations and all. So it will give you, this is the what I mentioned by the details of your projects, what you want to achieve, what is the problem, what is the uh, result, or here it doesn't mention the technology used, but you can also add on. So here you can directly show as a dashboard what it has been achieved. So you can try to directly play around with different things. Let me try to. Yeah. So this is one of this. If I can show you the others one. So you can see like it you can see the levels of details of the projects already. It's one single one, but it's very well explained and all. Like what are the characteristics, what it's trying to achieve, like what is focusing on part by part, explaining what is the dashboard from the analytics, what it shows and all, and then like how can we predict it's likely to churn or not, then for the model and all. So you see it's very step by steps and very detailed, informative and all. So this will give you a very strong profile on what you have done, what's the result that you achieved. But of course you can also add on some other things like the technology you use or some of the limitation or areas of improvement. You can always add on that. But from here you can already see it's a very you have different website. So if let's say if here also you have the other one is on the uh, front end web. So it's doing some other website and all. So you can also add in. So you may not be just focusing on one. So it depends on what you want to cover. You can be one section is on data analysis, then one section is on all this web development, then the other section is on cloud and all. So you can start small, cover one by one. Then as you include the project, different projects in, you can try to design your website into better way. So this is the first one. I'll quickly go through the second one. It's from Naledi. So this one is also very strong. It's as a data analyst. So you can see it's very simple. You have a homepage and a blog. So you're also covering some of the technical blog posts. If you have some, for your case, if you have published some thesis or your paper and all, you can put in into your portfolio here, your paper, the paper and all that you have work on, and all maybe it can be some blog post that you have put in. So then you can see it's trying to put into, like, this is what I mentioned, the uh, personalize your portfolio, right? So you can see from what is your professional background, what you like to do, and like what then your see her is like directly talking. She's using the table and all, certified professional and all. So if you have other achievement and certification and all, you can also put it in. But as I always mention, don't think of the design so much first. You can put into bullet point as a start. Can be simple. I will show you some of the simple portfolio also. But then as you are more comfortable and all, you can uh, put more efforts into the designs and all. So here you can see I have a very strong portfolio of works. You can keep on adding in and all. So here you can see, like, even have the different uh, this one is directly from the tabio is published. So if you have some published work into some hosting into some of the website, maybe Hugging Face or some other place, you can put it into already. It's link it to it, so people can directly have a very uh, uh, direct access to what you have done, and then you can be very interactive and like responsive on based on the clicking. You can see like what are the things, updates and all. So you can show here is directly showcasing different skill set. Of course, like I also say just now, don't just put the result, right. Also put into some of the so-called the documentation explaining what you're trying to do, what is the result, explaining what from the result, what has been done and all. So all this will be included into the slide. You can spend more times into uh, going through different portfolio, and from here also you can get some ideas. What are the projects that you want to work on and include into your portfolio? Yeah. So you can see there are different projects that has been covered here. So this will be the second one, second portfolio. Let's go back to the slide. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see all these different portfolio. Then you can get some ideas on what can be included in, what are the things that you can improve in your portfolio if you already have one. So this is the first one. Then the second one is in the maybe just now we have covered. So these are the two examples for data analyst. But I have a lot more samples, but I think I'll just put into the links for you to take a look. Uh, but let's go through some of the samples for machine learning engineer. So, so just now for as a data analyst, you are more focusing on the data processing and then the visualization, dashboard, and all as your main deliverables, right? As machine learning engineer, there are different things that you may want to cover. So the first example is Nikita. Okay, see. So this is the Nikita portfolio. So you can see here there's about me, and then you have blog posts and then portfolio, or even have working in the talks and papers and Kaggle and some other things. So here is where give a very simple website with like simple portfolio. What are the projects of interest that you are covering? Maybe he's more focusing on the NLP and computer vision and all. If you are just covering just the NLP project, you can just highlight it. But of course, as time goes by, as you continue learning and all, you will increase more and more into your portfolio. So then you have the different blog posts on sections on the projects. The first one is like text readability prediction with transformer, and yeah, it has a simple highlights on it has been done using what libraries and what are the uh, machine learning framework that is trying to do, what's the neural network that is trying to use, and then and all. So then you have also link it to the GitHub repo. I will be going to, yeah. So you have from the GitHub repo you can see a summary on the results and all. Then you also include the demo apps and all. So this will be very strong profile as a your GitHub project. So if you can do one, don't go for quality. Quantity is one thing, but the quality is the most important thing. So you can see like for one single project, you can split into like the README is this is the uh, explaining what is the project and all. Then you can also have the requirements on what are the libraries that you need to install to get started. And then also like the split into the coding part, the input, the data and the output of the results and the notebooks and all. So this will be showcase a very structured, organized way of GitHub projects. Then of course link into your app applications and all put into if you have some of the screenshot or video and all put the link in it will give your profile very good like how to get started, how to run your code using the conda environments, and then running which notebooks step by steps and all. So you can see this is a very strong portfolio. Let me show you some of the other things like text to image translation. So in the portfolio or website, it's a summary of all the projects. This one is like a long list, right? So the other one is category by different menu. So it's up to your own preference. What are the templates you want to write? So then you also can link it to your Kaggle websites and all. So that different models. And if you don't have so you can put into like here um some something that is how to say uh a photo that's related to your projects. It can be some like this text readability, just a simple photo, or it can be some other more technical neural network photos. Or for this one is because it's doing the molecules, it's using the molecule as a project profile photo portfolio photo, or you can also put into a design diagram flow how what are the steps that you want to cover and all. Yeah, so that you can so here I say just now in one single portfolio it's not just about the coding and all, not just about the projects. In here you can already showcase different soft skills that you unintentionally put into, like you can write the flow chart and all. So it will be like also including in your contribution into Kaggle and all. So it's all over the places. And yeah, further projects you can put into the others like your project plans and all. You can put into further projects. So you can put into like the to-do list. One is for your own reference. What are the tasks that you want to cover and plan ahead? Of course, don't just leave it. Now, December 2023 is to-do list. December 2024 still in to-do list, then something is not working. You try to plan ahead what are the things, smaller, break into smaller tasks and put in different projects, what you want to achieve every week or every month and things like that. So it will give you a very uh, strong profile journey. Let's back to the slide first. I feel so. This is uh, one first portfolio on from as a machine learning engineer. Second one is Eric Wandings. Let me show you if I Eric Wandings here. So here you can see different designs and already here. So you can see again he's split into different projects, papers and timeline and all. Here something that you can uh, get some idea is it will directly link to his resume. So it's an online resume, and also if you after you have done your thesis, and if there's no confidentiality and with your university and all, you can also consider put into your publish your own thesis PDF file into your project form portfolios. Like here, what are the if you are a GDSC members and all, you can put into your highlight into your portfolio and all. Here is also like doing some like your graduation, the academy in background and all. So this will be a very good reference as a students and all. Then you can link it to your LinkedIn and then GitHub, some other social media that is if preferably it's more professional, not the personal ones. So then can learn some other like the it's again the same ones. You can see like what are the projects, skills and all. So here is like splitting into different projects and all. Then uh, you can see this is the part that I mentioned. This will be the what's that? The highlights of your best project. As time goes by, you can just keep on updating the most latest or most your best project, most relevant projects profiles. Of course, maybe you have a lot more, but some you can put into archive and or some getting sudden journey projects that will be as a additional, but not the main focus of your portfolio. So here you can take a look. Here you can see that different projects that they have cover even for the stimulation of some game engines and all. So you'll be directly showing a very strong profile on different skill set and also domain. I can do the neural network training and all. Then you have done audio. Then you have done the uh, computer vision object tracker and all. So it can give you like simple projects. Can be a web scraper. Would be more on the data engineering parts. So you can take a look on all these things. So the next one will be, I think, is on Flip, the third one, the machine learning portfolio. So here, just now it's on different more like look like a website portfolio and all right. So if you just get started right, something that you can directly refer is this as a very first portfolio. So here you can just have a very simple readme, then you can have your learning project portfolio. What are the experiments? So you just list down everything in your README document. So it's actually in everything is in this README document. So in GitHub, it's at the it will publish the README in the in as an introduction. So that's why please include your README in all your projects. So and you have like cover what are the experiments, then the projects completed, and then working in progress. What are the things that were working in progress? So for your project portfolio, it's not necessary to just showcase what you have done because some project may take longer times, right? You can put into separate categories like what are the things that you are working in progress and all, or even for each of projects you can have also cover what you have your plan, what are the tasks that you have covered, and then what is your to do task list is working in progress and all. Then this one is also very interesting that it also cover the give you an idea what is the data set that is being used. So if you if you are working on your final year project, thesis projects and all right, you can also do the same thing so in your portfolio. So you also cover what the data set you can be getting from your public data set, or it can be some of the data set you yourself collected and all. So you can put that, put some information on the data set, then the tool set that is being used. If you are using some of the uh, uh, different libraries for your different tasks, you can also put it into this. It's very good to showcase what you have learned and what are the libraries that you have used. And also, as you go, as time goes by, right, it will be very helpful if you have all this in place, right? If you want to prepare for your interview, if you just read through your all this readme and all right, you already can refresh what you have done previously. Otherwise, it will be uh, very hard, especially if you are nervous during the interview. You may have a memory shortage or block up and all right. So if you already have all this written right during the interview session, you can just go through, explain as you browse through your project portfolio. Because if you go all this, you already once you see this, you kind of know already. If not, then you already have links to refer. Then it's easier for you to explain and catch up what you have done previously. So this will be very helpful for you to explain your projects, especially those that is a bit um, more challenging or hard to explain in if if you have not prepared well beforehand. So, but maybe you don't have time, right? But if you have all this ready and all right, it's very easy. You just go through and then you can directly, because you root all these things, right? You can just know what you want to mention already. What are the things that you have done? Like here, the how to get started running the code, and if you have the Docker part, deployment part, how to get started and all. So it's also the literature review and all. So it's really simple. You don't have to have a very simple fancy website, but don't worry, this will be step by step for your future plans and all right. If just to get started, just try to create a new project, and then in the README you just put into all these very simple plans and all. Then as every week you try to fill up some of the things, then you as you goes by, then you will have a very complete dashboard portfolio. So don't worry if you need to design. All these are very fancy, but to get started, this is already very simple. Like I mentioned just now, try to improve your portfolio into the quality instead of quantity. Try to push more things into your project, so explaining more and all. Then you will, even though you don't have uh, a lot of projects, but you really showcase you have a very strong profile there. So yeah, I think that's that I have. Let me go back to this one. So we have covered uh, the first one, website lists and all. You include different links to GitHub, blog posts, Kaggle, and what's not. Then also this include the technology used. What is the tagging? That is a deep learning. Is a web application. If it's and all. Then the second one is very simple, but then it's by menu based. Like what is the projects is being covered in the it has done so far. Then multiple links to the menu for all the projects, paper, resume, even the thesis and all. So you can see the project journeys and career journeys and the interest is in one single portfolio. So the third one is a flip. So for this one, it's something very, very, very simple that you may want to. It's very good for you um, to refer for if you want to get started. So uh, here it's just a simple README file, but then inside the README file is very detailed. It's already include it's everything is on the README. Yeah, but it includes all the explaining the projects and then split into what has been done, what is the working in progress in the profile, and then demonstrate the how much the time of all and efforts it has put into different projects, and then the overview of data set, tool set, and then the machine learning models that is being used for each project and all. So this will be it's already really very good as a GitHub portfolio. So you don't have to be very fancy animation and all. But I think it's more on the quality, more on the details, what you put into the portfolio that is important. So yeah, I think that's all from my side on different samples and what are the things that you want to include, how to get started and all. But of course, the GitHub commands is just a few simple, a few lines. I think we can. I will put into the reference for you to get started. How to convert into your GitHub projects into a publishing as a GitHub portfolio website. So I think that's all for now. Any questions from the floor?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So, before we go into the Q&A session, I want to thank you, Ms. Lai Fong, for the very insightful sharing session or presentation. Even though the topic is just building portfolio on GitHub, but you touch more, you even touch like detail um, sharing session on code quality and the structure of the documentation. So it shows us what's the important things need to uh, take consideration when building portfolio itself lah. So for the Q&A, I will open the uh, floor for any attendees. And I think we already have one question here in the
Mm-hmm.
chat. One of our attendees asked, in the hiring process, what is an estimate of the percentage of applicants that have a GitHub portfolio and what kind of results does that produce?
I would say in the hiring process, the GitHub portfolio is not mandatory. Even if you have no GitHub portfolio, you may also get a chance to the interview. Then you will have the question will be fall back to how well written is your resume. If your resume already, your CV already have a very good profile on the projects that you have covered, explaining well and all, then there's no problem. Or if you have linked to your different projects and so case, that will be also the interviewer can access to your projects from your CV. That works also. But I think what is important here is how a GitHub portfolio is just a way, a method for you just to showcase your capability, your skill set, your projects and all. So it can be on your CV or it can be on your GitHub. So if you have a GitHub, I would say it will be an advantage because then it's a centralized place that people can know a lot from the projects that you have done and all. And secondly, then directly access to your from the code. They already know your coding styles and all, or and the quality of your code. So you don't have much. I would think that if you have put that into a good profile in your GitHub portfolio, most likely you will have a mm, uh, less question on the coding part because we already assessed beforehand how you write a code and like what are the things that you already know and all. Otherwise, you may get a lot more questions during the interview. And in interview, if you are nervous when people start asking a lot of questions, then you may not perform well. Then it will be uh, how to say uh, have lesser chance or opportunity for you to get that job in that sense. So it's not on the percentage and all. It depends also on personality. If you can just very well well versed in during the interview, you can just or any projects you can just directly explain in no need to have any reference and all. Then it's your strength and all. But if with the GitHub, I think it helps a lot to 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 help you to perform during your interview. I would say that.
Right. But the attendants have rephrased the question. It says that she meant that how often do you see fresh graduate applicants with a GitHub portfolio, and how does that improve chance of getting hired?
All right. Uh, uh, I think especially for the recent years, a lot of the fresh grad candidates already having the GitHub portfolio link included in. But of course, uh, uh, know it or not, actually, it's very easy to do a search with your email or with your name to see if you have all these social account like GitHub account and things like that. Even if you don't put it in, if you can, if the individual keen like how you attend a talk or you speaker and all, you just try to know that person earlier, right? You try to try 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 to find the LinkedIn profile, GitHub
Yeah.
profile, know her, right? So you will still get try. I think the individual will still will you definitely will try to do a search first if they see how much information they may get. But of course, the strong visibility you have, the higher chance you will get it. I think in the recent years, the percentage and all right, um, most of the candidates will have the GitHub project profile available, but if not, it will not be the reason why you not getting selected for the interviews. But it will be an extra advantage points, especially if you have a very strong GitHub portfolio.
Uh-huh. So the portfolio is more on the exposure of the person itself, lah.
Right, right. Especially if you are fresh graduate, right? You don't have the much of the working experience. You don't have much to write, right?
Yeah.
Then a lot of all this is your personal projects or your open source project. You'll do somewhere, you learn somewhere, right? It will be if you can centralize everything into your GitHub profiles. It will it will still show that you are patient, your passion, what you have learned and all. It just directly tell from your GitHub. But without that, you need to prove yourself more lah, during the interview.
All right. So the next question is, as a first year student, what are the things that we can do to start our project since we have a quite about computer science? So basically, the attendees want to dive more into data analytics and engineering, and was a non-IT student before.
Right. So for this, right, if you are first year students, right, if it can be very simple projects, I think you can link it to your what is it called, your coursework project. So just now
Mm-hmm.
I put it's more a lot of industry and all, right. You can start get familiar with all this GitHub portfolio, starting with your coursework project. So
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you have, if you learn, let's say, learn uh, Java or Python, you must have a very small projects
Yeah,
for each
assignment.
of the coursework assignments. you convert the assignment into your GitHub, like put into explaining what you want, what is the problem, what like you practice of, like I say, it's very useful, especially with your first year. You get used to all this GitHub. Then second year you update your projects, your project complexity will grow, and then your final year projects, and then you will have a very strong. So as you goes by, when you have better projects and all, you put the highlights into the more complicated projects. The others you can just archive or put into your learning journey, like how you build up your computer science or data analysis projects and all. So you'll be like just put it as like a learning journal.
Mm-hmm. So like for example, if we have like group assignments on programming subjects, right? So we
Mm.
can like convert it into a collaborative project lah into our portfolio.
Yeah, you can also like open a project. For projects, you can put into private or public. It can be private, and then you share to your different team members. You
Mm-hmm.
can get practice how you get the code changes from other team members. Don't just copy paste. Have to compare which line, which word you have changed and all. Very complicated, right? Very tedious process. So you get used on how you get updates from this. We call it source control, source version control. You get used to all this git command and all. You will be very helpful in your when you deal with industry projects later, because it will be some sort of source control later.
Alright. So the next question in chat is you mentioned including the time we have spent on projects. Would having spent a long time on a seemingly simple project give a negative viewpoint on our technical abilities?
Well, for this one, right, it really depends. It's your don't think too much on all that. If you are not don't feel confident or comfortable on putting this, these are all are extra, right? If you then you can just skip it. It's not everything you need to put in. Like I showed just now, different samples, right? Different people put different things. It's okay. So you just see what you want to put. If you think that it's you want to showcase like how much time you have put into it and all, you can just put that in. If it's not, then you can skip it, or if you can put into a private note for your own reference, or if you just put it as a, because you can always update your all the codes of your files in the GitHub, right? You can keep
Uh-huh.
on updating your project plans, and also you can also, as the time goes by, you can see how much time you need for each task and all. You can see the growth. I think that one is more important.
I see.
Mm.
So, I have a question from myself.
Mm.
So you mentioned that the advantage of the GitHub portfolio is that for example, in hiring job they can easily access our codes, right?
Mm.
They can see how our structure of the code or the code quality lah. So does that mean is it necessary for us to like give public access of our source code?
Yes, most likely all of the codes. If how should I say? So that's why if you can, it can be depends. I would say depends. Let me go back to the samples here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so like the GitHub just now. So like this one, right? For different projects, I would say what is important in the structure is how we want to what we want to see is the README, and then we have one the requirements. Ends is more on the libraries that you need to use.
Uh-huh.
What the libraries that you want, but of course this one is Python on machine learning. If you are working on, let's say, Java and things like that, maybe you don't have this requirement text file, but you will be some other format and things like that. Then the starting point most likely is this one. You can just put if you don't want to put so much of all the codes in, right? What you
Mm-hmm.
can do is you can explain the code in the README. You can just have a code snippet. It's not the full code, but like partial of the codes
Mm-hmm.
to some of the highlights of the codes. Or
Maybe
if
like structure or like algorithm you use in
right,
the.
right. That will be fine also.
Mm.
But of course, during the interviewer, that if it may they will maybe going into details like how can you explain how you actually use this algorithm and things like that to build it.
Mm.
Then you need to explain. No? With code, then it will be easier. But if due to the confidentiality and things like that, if you cannot publish everything, what is important is that you can also put as the output results, like the screenshot on the output result, or put the demo apps as your results, or the model that you have built, not
Uh,
the code, not the whole code, but after you build, you have the model, right? You
yeah.
put into the artifacts here, then like how we want to do, let's say, do the inference, call the model to predict cat or dog. So that just that part of code, not the training. If you think that one is a bit confidential, but how to use your model, some sample of that will be also can do it that way. Yeah, so it can be different ideas. Some projects, if you are linking it to, I can just now don't know which one. If you already, especially nowadays, a lot of things are actually linking it to. If you are just doing some of the exercise, coding exercise, right, in
Uh-huh.
the Kaggle website, you just link to your Kaggle website, the Kaggle profile there, the projects that
Oh,
you have worked. Also, that one, yeah, as long as you can access to the applications, or to the code, to the notebook and things like that, that will be uh, already very good. Because if you don't put, I think it will still will publish it one way or the other, because you need to um, publicize your work, right? It's just how you, after you have done your projects or thesis, you also need to publish it. It will be still some sort of documents, the data, the tools there, the methodology, then the results. You can put as a flow chart how you do that and things like that. Then it's also one way of how you can put into your GitHub portfolio. Mm. So it's up to you. That's why I don't put so much on the how to put in the GitHub Gerrit, because I think that one is very simple. But the content itself is more important. How you can, what are the things that you can put into? I think it's
mm,
this one right up on Google Kaggle. So you can see like different things that
oh,
you can try on. If you have some works, maybe you save your model in Hugging Face or some other things, you can just put a link there. In link here, of course, you also need to do similar things. So explain what is the project, what you have done, and things like that. No? But this one is also good. You can have discussion. You can get comments from feedbacks from other people and things like that to help one improve and showcase, and like people will appreciate your works and give you the credits. Yeah. So this is one way. Lor.
all right. So, I think one last question from me. Like,
Hmm.
personally, I've been thinking about creating the GitHub portfolio, but what's stopping me, or I'm stuck at maybe because I have some simple small projects, but they're not on my GitHub repository lah. I didn't use GitHub that often, so most of my project is local on my device lah. So can you give like some tips? Where can I start? How can I be more comfortable with the GitHub?
Oh, if you have local, right? I think GitHub will be a better place because it's free, right? You will be, you if you don't scare like you have lost your projects. I mean, maybe your laptop uh, got problem of reformat, then you need to save a copy and things like that. Maybe you need to do all these things, right? So I think once you have get into practice, if you're working on personal projects and all, you can start with your local laptop and all. Then after you have finished and all right, if you are not sure if it's a good project or if it's interesting, you can always start in your GitHub projects. After that, right, in if you have this one depends on the machine. If you are using Windows, there's this desktop GitHub desktop. So you just create the GitHub folder linked to your GitHub profile. You can just copy and paste your whole code, your whole folders into the GitHub folders. You will actually help you sync and all. Or if you're in other machines, MacBook or Linux, that's also one of the reasons why I cannot do the coding much, because it depends on the machines hardware. So if then you are using the terminal commands and all, you also create the GitHub folder link into your account, or
Mhm.
in your you can the other way is in the GitHub website. I don't have mine ready, but you know GitHub right in your projects, right? I think here you can just create a new project, then you just give it a name, then you can just copy a whole code or whole folder inside. Then you make it as a private for your own reference. By
Mhm.
any time when you are comfortable and all, you still like maybe it's still very messy and all, and you want to put to show, right, then after you think it's ready, then you just change it to public, then it will be then you can in your main page there, you can see your project profile in the GitHub profile. So but in any case, you still can see what you have done in your private rep. It's just private repo only, but you can still see it, or continue work on the project until you you think that it's okay to publish.
I see.
Yeah, like your university projects, if it's confidential and all, you can open create a private repo, then just share to a few people. So that works also.
Mhm.
So can use to use the GitHub in that sense. Then as without noticing, right, you will like after 1 year, and so especially if you are from design students, you have different coursework projects. You will see how much you have done so far. And it's very easy for you to after that. Then you just take the time to plan for the design, which one you want to put into public, and improve on the details and all the tracking. Yeah.
All right. So, thank you, Miss, for the valuable answer. So, I think that's the last question for tonight's session. So, before we end our session tonight, I would like to express our gratitude to Ms. Laifong for sharing your expertise and knowledge with us today. And I think there could be possibly a sequel to the study jam, maybe in the upcoming event, so that we can go more in depth in other samples or assays.
Yeah, sure.
Um, all right. So other than that, I would also like to thank you for all the participants for your active participation today. So we hope this sharing session or our GitHub Study Jam will give you invaluable insights, and also will give you inspiration for your maybe next GitHub portfolio in your New Year resolution maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe by next year I've already created my own personal portfolio lah.
Yeah. Don't think so much. Get small. Start small. First put as private repo, and then put something in. As you go in, then you can what are the things inside. The I think most of the one of the mistake is that you don't if you don't start small, right, then you have a lot, then it's very hard for you to start because there's too much for you to get started.
Uh-huh. All right. So I think that's all for tonight. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you again, Ms. Lai Fong.
Thank
So
you. Happy
see you guys
New
again.
Year. Hope to see some of the GitHub portfolio next round. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye
All right.
bye. Happy
Bye.
New Year. Bye bye.
Happy New Year, everyone.